Usually on this channel we talk a lot about e-commerce, we start talking about selling your products, profiting from your products, and also sourcing your products, because I've been in China now for 7 years. We own a sourcing company here where we help Amazon sellers and e-commerce sellers source products in China, so where we can do the whole thing for you. We also talk a lot about e-commerce, things of selling, because we've done multiple 7 figures over the last years, and I'm teaching you on the channel how do we do that, how can you do it too. Today, however, we're going to talk a little bit of mindset. I want to share a little bit of personal things. I want to share a little bit about myself and things that changed my life. And I know it always sounds cheesy, it's like, oh, this will change your life. But it actually did. And usually you don't realize that in the moment, but only later, that it actually had a big impact in your life. So there are 3 things I want to share with you today, and I want to talk about that actually changed my life. The very first thing that changed my life is a book that I read, and that was The Fast Lane Millionaire by MJ DeMarco. I don't have an Amazon affiliate link or whatever in the description, just Google it. Okay, just type it in Google, Fast Lane Millionaire, MJ DeMarco. Absolutely must read, because when I was living in Vietnam back then, I felt like I'm the shit. Because I was 20 years old and I was doing this management job, you know, where for this German guy, and I started working for him in China, and then he sent me to Vietnam, kind of pushed me in the Cold War, and he's like, figure it out. So that was great, because all my friends were still in school. All my friends didn't know what they were, like, they didn't even know what they want to do in the future, and I was already deputy director. This was the title that he gave me, and afterwards now I realized that this was just kind of a thing to trick me and you know, feeling good about myself. So anyway, I felt really good about myself, and then I meet this guy. I realized that I was nothing. There was this guy I met. He was 30 years old, and so I'm like, so what you do? He's like, oh, I'm doing a little company here, just trying around things. So I'm like, so you make money with this or what? He's like, no, I'm just this company is gonna burn money for a long time. So I was like, cool. So how do you finance yourself? How do you live? He's like, oh, I'm retired. Like I have a property that pays me income, and I live on the rent. So I, well, you're 30, right? Yeah. So how did you, like, how is that possible? Like, how much did your job pay you? He said, job, come on, dude. Like, you cannot do that with a job. You gotta have a business. And that kind of got me thinking. I was like, well, okay, yeah, I understand that, but I couldn't do a business because I don't know how to do it. I don't have the money to do it. It takes money to make money, right? Which is not true. And like all of these things, so I didn't know what to do. And then this guy gives me a book, and he's like, well, just go ahead, buy the book called Fast Lane Millionaire by MJ DeMarco. So I read this book, and this book's kind of like a little brainwash. So I'll give you a little warning here. When you read the book, you might not be able to work anymore, because that happened for me. After I read the book, a month later or so, I quit my job. Because this book, he explained me how you cannot get rich having a job, how there's a fast way to make money. There's not an easy way to make money, but there's a really fast way to make a lot of money. And that you actually need to make a lot of money to have the security, to have the safety, how to actually get passive income, what does it take to create a business? Because there are certain businesses that don't make you rich. If you own a hot dog stand down the street, you're not going to get rich because you don't have leverage. First of all, the amount you can sell a hot dog for is limited. And then the amount of hot dogs you can sell is limited by the people that visit your store, right? So there's no way you can get rich by that. And a lot of businesses are really just disguised as jobs. Some might be higher paying jobs, but it's still like time for money kind of thing. So he goes through all of the principles that a business has to have to be able to be a fast lane business. So it completely changed my life, and it still baffles me how people watch these videos and learn about things like, oh man, that thing really changed his life, and then not buying the book. Come on, get the book, read it. It's incredible. It changed my life. So how can you watch this and not buy this? And I recommended this book to so many people that then didn't read it, and 2 years later they're like, oh, I'm complaining about their job. Well, 2 years ago you could have read the book and your life could already be different. Okay, that was the first thing that completely changed my life. That made me aware that everyone is able to do that. That made me aware that a job is not the end of the game. Until I was 22, I had no idea. I was not into this whole how to make money online kind of thing. I didn't know any of this. I didn't even know that it's possible that you could do that. And because I wasn't looking for things like that on YouTube, I wasn't getting those things suggested. I saw it's all a scam. I saw it's all bullshit. You are already ahead of me. If you're watching this, you are already educating yourself, which is great. But still, this book is just a complete mind changer. This is the first thing that changed my life. The second thing that changed my life is quitting smoking. So I was a very heavy smoker for years. I started when I was 14, 15 years old, which is just a the usual things. You know, I had like a little shisha, I had the, you know, like the little, you know, we had little cigarettes, they're called pink elephants, so like little pink cigarette. It was like, I don't know, it was really kid stuff. Like nowadays everyone's doing the e-cigarettes, which all the kids like, oh, like this, oh, there's a nice flavor, it tastes like bubble gum, right? So all the kids get into it. And this is how I got started smoking. And then it ended up when I was in Vietnam, a pack of cigarette was $1. So like there's no, yeah, and you smoke everywhere. When I was back in China, I was smoking at home, my girlfriend was smoking. We were like, a pack a day was nothing. I was working from outside, from outdoors, and it was just one after the other. So at some days there were 2 packs a pop. Then there's another book that I read, which I don't know what's the English title, but it's written by Alan Carr. I think it's called the Alan Carr Method. I read it in German, so it has a different title in German, but whatever, just look for it. The Alan Carr Method. And I read this book and I quit smoking, just like that. And I know a lot of people that did actually. I actually personally know 3 people that read the book and quit smoking. And not like gradually, like reading the book, boom, done. It was definitely a tough time. I wasn't able to concentrate, I wasn't able to focus. I was in really bad shape, and because the nicotine really does stuff to you and you're really addicted. But then I realized, just for there's so many benefits to that, but just the point of focusing. As a smoker, you have your level of focus, right? And as a smoker, your level of focus drops. So you need to smoke a cigarette to just go back to normal, because your focus just always drops a lot faster than it drops for someone who doesn't smoke. So as a non-smoker, you're just constantly on the level. But as a smoker, you think, well, if I smoke, I can concentrate better. No, it's not true. If you smoke, you get back to the normal level of concentration, and otherwise you just suck. So you need to keep the smoking going. And if you quit the smoking, that will completely change my life, because that triggered so many other things. Because of that, I realized, I thought that was impossible. And doing something impossible made me realize that I can actually do things that I think are impossible, that I actually can make my business work. Then I started working out again. I started on a treadmill, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, once a day, once a week in the gym, twice a week, 3 times a week. And it just gradually morphed into something where I was working out twice a day, where I became a triathlete running Ironmans. And this is not something that happens overnight. This took 2 years, right? But this was just a trigger point. And realizing this, it's such a great training to quit smoking, because you have to tell yourself no every day after that. It becomes easy after 2, 3, 4 months, you know, it becomes easy to just, you just don't think about it anymore. But especially in the first days, you have to tell yourself, no, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this now for so many times every day, that you train yourself so well, so everything else in your life becomes easier. Like you have work to do, but your friends want to go out for a drink. No, I don't do this. You have so many things where you now can say no to, and realizing that I can actually do the impossible was a complete eye-opener that completely changed my business, that changed my income, that changed my relationship, and that changed everything from that moment on. Let's move on to the third thing, and I'll let you go. The third thing that really helped me was my mentor. The third thing that changed my life was my mentor. So it's, in my business, I have a partner who's a Chinese guy, and we're good friends now. But he completely changed my life. He shortcutted my whole journey for years. He cut off probably a decade out of my journey to be successful, because what you see on YouTube is all the people that made it. What you don't see is the 7 to 10 years that they were struggling beforehand to become the overnight success. And this is just a journey that everyone has to go through. My journey, however, was just cut in half, because I met the mentor. I met the guy that actually knew what he was doing. He's 10 years older, and he has been through the phases that I'm going through. He has been through the phases where he was broke, where he didn't have money to pay his bills. He has been through all of this stuff. He knows what it takes mentally to do that, because honestly, it's just a mental game. The mechanics, all the things you learn, you spend so much time on YouTube on learning all the mechanics, when in fact you should spend all the time on developing your skills and developing yourself. And there were just so many things I didn't know I was afraid to fail that just came out after working with this guy. I didn't know, I wasn't pushing myself hard. I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to do. I wasn't doing the things necessary. I didn't have the right mindset. Yet I thought I was great already because I owned a business before. But when I met him, And when he invested into my business and when he became a partner, he completely changed my life. He's still changing my life. Every time we meet, he's taking pressure off me. Every time we meet, I have these, whatever issue it is, and then he just pops out a sentence and says, oh, just do this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's so simple, that makes sense. Because he's done it already, he knows it, he's been through this. So he completely changed my life. He took probably a decade out of my journey to become successful, whatever you want to, whatever that means, right? And these are the three things. So if you want to turn your life around, there are three things that I did that I can highly recommend to you. Very first, MJ DeMarco, Fast Lane Millionaire. It's completely gonna change your mind, but read it with caution because you might not be able to go to work anymore because your life doesn't make sense anymore going to work. Then you have the next thing was quitting smoking, the Alan Carr method. Completely changed my life. Not only the smoking, like there's the health benefits and all this stuff that you don't care about because it's so long term and no one really gives a shit, and I didn't care about that as well. But what it really does is when you succeed with that, you do the impossible. And once you do, it's the 4-minute mile. Once the 4-minute mile is run, you know it can be done. Once I knew I can do the impossible, everything became possible. And that is what I want for you. The third thing was my mentor, who mentored me through all the challenges and all of the hurdles where I would have gotten stuck at, who got me through the point of actually succeeding. And that is something I wish for you too. So if you're looking for a mentor, if you would like me to mentor you, it happens that I have a mentorship program. And that mentorship program, you can join that just in the link below in the description. There's a link about a e-commerce system that I use to replace my full-time income. It's about dropshipping. It's a completely different approach than anything you hear and that you see online. So I highly recommend you to watch that to change your life. And even if you don't want to go down that route, even if you want to sell on Amazon, whatever, just watch it anyway. Because in the end of that, I open up a spot for you to my mentorship program. And even if you don't want to have anything to do with that, it just gives you access to me. It just gives you access to someone who's already done it. That completely, can take away all of your challenges, all of your hurdles, steer you in the right direction to actually do the things that you need to do to become successful, to kick your butt, to hold you accountable, all of that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, there's a link below in the description. Just watch the webcast, and at the end of it, you have a chance to jump on a call with me. Or if you just want a mentorship and you don't want any of the other stuff, there's a link below in the description where you can just book a call with me and we can see what we can do and we can see if I can help you and if we're a good fit. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe. If you like more of those videos, let me know in the comments. And if you have any question about sourcing, selling, or profiting from your products, just leave it below in the comments and I'm gonna make a video about it and answer it. Thank you for your time. I appreciate that you're still here, and I'll catch you tomorrow.